All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving headfirst into one of the most haunting and honestly unsettling novels ever written. Oscar Wilde's masterpiece, The Picture of Dorian Gray. And it all kicks off with the simple but really dangerous idea about what art is even for. Okay, let's just kick things off with this bombshell. The final, shocking line of Oscar Wilde's own preface. All art is quite useless. I mean, that sounds like an insult, right? Like he's trashing his own work. But here's the thing. For Wilde, that was the highest compliment you could possibly pay. He believed that art's job isn't to teach you a lesson or make you a better person or do anything useful at all. Nope. Its only job is to be beautiful. And that one simple, radical idea, it's the key that unlocks this entire twisted story. So this philosophy, it actually has a name. It's called aestheticism. It's this pretty radical belief that chasing after beauty is the highest purpose, not just for art, but for life itself. And you have to understand, Wilde didn't just talk the talk, he absolutely lived this. So when he wrote Dorian Gray, he wasn't just telling some spooky story. He was putting his entire philosophy on trial for the whole world to see. And get this, he even laid out the rules of the game for us right at the start. He lays out these rules right there in the preface. And what's so wild about them is how he just completely divorces art from morality. I mean, look at this. He's basically telling the reader, hey, listen, don't you dare judge this book based on whether the characters are good or bad people. That's not the point. Judge it on one thing and one thing only. Is it well written or not? I mean, that is such a bold challenge to throw down, and it totally sets the stage for a story that's going to push that very idea to its absolute breaking point. All right, so with that whole philosophy as our backdrop, let's dive into the story itself. We're stepping into a world where the lives of three men get completely, hopelessly tangled up. And at the center of it all, one single, extraordinary, and ultimately truly terrible work of art. Okay, so first up, we've got Basil Hallward. He's our artist, a really passionate, moral guy who truly believes his art can capture something pure, something ideal. And then you have Lord Henry Wotton. He's this super witty, cynical aristocrat who gets a real kick out of corrupting people with his dangerous ideas. And the funniest part, his favorite line is that all influence is immoral. Yeah, talk about irony. And who's caught right in the middle of these two? The subject of Basil's masterpiece, Dorian Gray. You have to picture him. He's impossibly beautiful, almost shockingly innocent, and he has absolutely no clue about the power his own face has over people. He is, for all intents and purposes, a perfect, beautiful, blank canvas just waiting to be painted on. And into that perfect innocence, Lord Henry drops his poison. He starts whispering in Dorian's ear, telling him that his beauty is the most valuable thing he'll ever have, but that it's tragically temporary. He convinces him that the only thing in the entire world worth having is youth, and that one day, poof, it's just going to be gone. So Dorian is standing there, staring at this finished portrait, a perfect mirror of his own youth and beauty. And suddenly, he's just seized by this absolute terror. And in this one moment of pure, passionate despair, he makes the wish. He strikes this terrible, fateful bargain right then and there. He wishes that he could stay young and beautiful forever, and that the painting would be the one to grow old and carry the weight of his sins. So the million-dollar question is, did it actually work? Well, we don't have to wait long to find out. The answer comes, and it comes quick, in the form of a really heartbreaking tragedy. And this is our first chilling proof that the portrait's dark magic is very, very real. Okay, so here's what happens. Dorian falls head over heels for this brilliant young actress, Sybil Vane. But here's the catch. He's not really in love with her. He's in love with the characters she plays on stage. The second she falls in love with him for real, her acting talent just vanishes. You know, real love makes playing pretend feel cheap. Well, Dorian is disgusted. He cruelly tells her that without her art, she's nothing to him. Just brutal. That very night, heartbroken, she takes her own life. And when Dorian gets home, he sees it. The first stain. A tiny new touch of cruelty has appeared around the mouth of the portrait. And just like that, this is his new reality. Dorian is horrified, of course, but he's also fascinated. His wish came true. The painting isn't just a painting anymore. It's his conscience. It's a visible, living record of his soul's decay. And what does that mean? It means the painting will carry all the guilt for him, leaving him completely free to do whatever he wants. So, what do you do when your soul is safely tucked away in a locked room? Well, if you're Dorian Gray, you spend the next 18 years dedicating yourself to a life of pure sensation, with Lord Henry's philosophy as your guidebook. He starts this wild experiment to cure the soul by means of the senses. And this just spirals into a life of obsession. We're talking collecting exotic musical instruments, studying perfumes, hoarding jewels and tapestries. He gets his hands on this poisonous French novel that basically becomes his new Bible. And by night, he's sneaking around London's darkest, dirtiest corners, all while his own face to the outside world stays as perfect and innocent as ever. And all the while, he's living this double life. The portrait, which he keeps hidden away in a locked room, just gets more and more hideous. It turns into this monstrous, sneering, aging thing, a perfect, disgusting reflection of his corrupted soul. And yet, his own face, it stays just as pure and beautiful as the day Basil first painted it. But a secret like that, it can't stay hidden forever. Eventually, the past always catches up. And in the novel's climax, it catches up with Dorian in a big way, leading to a violent, absolutely horrifying confrontation. So, years have passed, and one night, the artist, Basil Hallward, shows up. He confronts Dorian about all the terrible rumors that seem to follow him everywhere he goes. He's begging Dorian, just tell me they're not true. But Dorian, in this moment of pure, cruel pride, decides to do something else. He decides to show his old friend the terrible truth he's been hiding all these years. When Basil finally sees what the portrait has become, this monstrous thing, he's absolutely horrified. He begs Dorian to pray, to repent for his sins. But Dorian, he just snaps. He blames Basil, the artist, for his entire fate, and in a fit of pure rage, he grabs a knife and murders him, committing his worst sin yet. And now, the portrait's hands are stained with blood. More years go by, but Dorian is just haunted by what he's done. He becomes convinced that the only way to find peace is to destroy the very last piece of evidence, the source of all his misery, the painting. He thinks if he can just destroy the canvas, he can kill his conscience and finally be free. But in the final, shocking, perfect twist, it doesn't work that way. As he takes the same knife he used to kill Basil and stabs the portrait, he only manages to kill himself. The servants rush in and find the painting, somehow restored to all its original, splendid beauty. And on the floor lies their master, a withered, wrinkled, and absolutely loathsome old man. All his sins and all his years return to him in an instant. And so, in the end, Wilde's novel leaves us with this really haunting question. Remember that preface? He said that art doesn't mirror life, it mirrors the spectator, the person looking at it. That when we look at art, we see our own good and our own bad. So it makes you wonder, if your life were a portrait hidden away somewhere, capturing the absolute truth of your soul while your face stayed the same for the rest of the world to see, what would it look like?